Elizabeth Warren, there was an article I posted. I didn't talk about the specific article, but Elizabeth Warren came out and said, yeah, the primary was rigged. She went on she had an interview with Jake Tapper, and she talked about how yes, the primary was rigged against us. I'm sorry, it was rigged against Bernie Sanders. This is really terrible, blah, blah, blah. And she said this, and she was asked the question outright, so there was no dancing around. She just said yes, and she agreed. And she said that happened, and that's it. So there was no secret about what she was saying at the time. But all of a sudden, she decided to walk back that claim, and I just want to read over what her statement was, and I guarantee you the reasoning for why she walked back this claim was because she definitely got pressure from Democrats. She definitely got pressure from, people in her party that told her, like, listen, if you want to get further in this party, you better start saying things that are going to be in favor of us and not against us, and going out there and saying, basically saying anti-DNC type rhetoric. So let me read some of her quotes here. It says, and this article is from The Hill. So it talks about how, basically in a follow-up interview, she walked back her claim, and that the primary is rigged, and instead suggested that the Democratic National Committee showed some bias, quote, but that the election process had been, quote, fair. I agree with what Donna Brazile has said over the last few days, that while there was some bias at the DNC, the overall 2016 primary process was fair, and Hillary made history. Ugh, same usual fucking rhetoric. So anyway, basically the lesson I had to take from this, I mentioned earlier I was going to talk about Elizabeth Warren, is that I can't really trust her anymore. I'm not completely disowning her as a progressive, but as an opportunist, she definitely is. There's no doubt about it. She is no doubt an opportunist. She is not somebody I can trust. She is not somebody that I can take fully 100% seriously. She's somebody that I can definitely consider to support for president. But she would probably be at the bottom of the list of people as far as progressives go. She's the least of the progressive of all the people that I support that are progressives. So I would have trouble backing her, because I just don't think she would commit to a lot of the things that she claims she would commit to. She definitely has a lot of good financial, economic views and stuff, progressive views, but I don't know if I can trust her on that. It's something that has to kind of come at the expense of, getting other bad policies, which are going to be, unfortunately she could be pushing, assuming things go like that. So, if she does go out there and flip-flop on a bunch of things, we have to, somebody like me supporting her, I have to be afraid of that too. So, that's not something I necessarily can trust doing.